Hi, I'm Eleanor and welcome to MotorMatters, the channel that brings you the latest, the greatest, the newest and the best in motoring in South Africa. The question is, have you subscribed yet? Over 25,000 subscribers, on the road to 30,000, then 50,000. Join the family. What have we got for you today? BYD, or otherwise Build Your Dreams. And they certainly are building their dreams as the biggest sellers of EVs in the world last year. This is the Sealion 6. It's their medium to largish SUV version of their cars, and it's a hybrid this time, not fully electric like a lot of the BYD cars. So just keep in mind, 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine and then electric motors. And you get different variants in the Sealion 6. But the striking front end with, of course, the BYD badge, typical EV hybrid. You can see the front treatment, slimline headlights over here, obviously all LED, automatic high beams, all the features in the world as you expect this car to be packed with features. Very nice looking 19-inch alloy wheels. You got the cladding, you can see it's a long car. I think it's about over 5 meters long. It looks good, it looks the part. And just to tell you, this is the premium model. You get the 3 spec levels, and this is the top of the 3. So it's got a lot of features, but they packed with features from the entry model, if you can call it an entry. So let's take a look quickly. Space in the rear seat. Look at this. Driver's seat set for me as you expect, as you know I'm going to have it set. You got in the top model a 10-speaker Infinity sound system. Very interesting shaped door handles over here. Flat floor in the rear because of the drivetrain. You've got USBs, 2, an A and a C. You've got aircon vents over here. Interesting that on, I don't know if it's standard or only on this car, but not carpeting, but note these very heavy duty, well, there is carpeting underneath, but fitted with these very heavy duty rubber mats. So let me correct that there is carpeting underneath. You're going to either love or hate the interior trim. Why I say that is obviously leather or pleather, but quite colorful. Should I put it that way? You've got the 3 different colors on the seats, but they are neat, they are comfortable. Got a nice pull-out armrest over here with 2 cup holders. So all of this that you expect. And interestingly, all of them, all 3 spec levels, do come with this massive panoramic roof that, look here, extends all the way basically to the headrests of the back seat. So tons of light if you want the sunroof, the panoramic roof open. All these features. And as I said, standard across the whole range, which is an interesting fact. You come round, very long C-pillar. Look at that, into these tail lights over here. And of course, as you'd expect, the light bar all the way across. With, as also expected these days, a spoiler over the top. Now, on the mid and top spec models, you get the auto opening on all, the power tailgate on all. But on the top 2 specs, you get this locking button as well, not just the powered. So just keep that in mind. Just going to move that out the way. You've got the same rubber mat, very thick rubber mat at the back over here. And I'm just struggling to lift it quickly. And then the normal shelf. And oopsie, I'm looking. No spare wheel because of all the batteries and such like. So just keep in mind, no spare wheel, but that's become so common these days. What I do like is note, no lip to load over. So of course, guess what we have to do? I've left the shelf in, so it's a bit more awkward. BYD claimed just on 400 litres of boot space, but it is quite a steep tailgate. I'm going to rate this at about a 1.6 Allen boot. A little bit of intrusion, not space underneath the boot board. You've got your bag with your cables over there, charging cables, so there are intrusions. So about a 1.6, I think. But of course, you can fold down the back seats, etc., if you really need load space. I mentioned power. Now, all 3 derivatives do come with a 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine. And then in the mid-spec model, in the two lower spec models, you get a battery on the front wheels only, and you get 160 kilowatts and 300 newton meters of torque. On this one, you get batteries on both axles. So it's an all-wheel drive. So you do get the comfort, the safety, the extra safety barrier of all-wheel drive. And your power jumps up to 238 kilowatts and 550 newton meters of torque, giving you a claimed 0 to 100 of 5.9 seconds. That's pretty quick. So which one you want to choose, I think will depend on your budget more than anything else, but we'll get to that a little bit later. In the meantime, let's see it on the road. Let's check it out inside. Although electric vehicles generally are more suited to urban driving, that's where a plug-in hybrid really comes into its own, because then you do have the best of all the worlds in every world. So I really, in that sense, for open road, going out into the country, I think a plug-in hybrid works even more for me. So the Sealion 6 plug-in hybrid, you can either get a 160 kilowatt version, or we've got the full-fat 238 550 newton meter version, and all-wheel drive as well. So it's got it all, and of course it's got all the spec in the world too. Gigantic screen, it's got the instrumentation, which I'll show you more of later. It's got full ADAS, so adaptive cruise control, all those sort of features. Panoramic roof, multicolored, can I call them, leather or leatherette seats, you either love or hate. Ventilated as well, so that's nice to have. Acres of space in the back seat. It really is a biggish family SUV. And what I like about a plug-in hybrid is, unless you're really pushing it hard and you're really pushing the 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine, unless you do that, they're so quiet. They cruise along, obviously road noise, wind noise, you can't help a certain amount, but minimal engine noise. And to me, that's a lovely feature when you want a relaxed cruise. And isn't that what these sort of cars are all about? So you take that into account. And then I've got to comment, and I'll comment a number of times in the video, the range that these vehicles can give you. It may have a range of about 70 kilometers on electric only, but it was showing over 900 kilometers total range when the car arrived. We've driven all the way out to Paris, and we've still got over 700 kilometers left in the tank. And it could probably be even more if I charge it up or plug it in or whatever I'll need to do to get the charge side going again. But that's the beauty of, as I say, a plug-in hybrid. Jumping in behind the wheel, as you expect, you've got full digital instrumentation. I think this is a 10-inch in front of the driver. It shows the drivetrain and what you're using. There's how much charge you've got left. There's your range left on the tank. And they claim between 900 and 1,000 kilometers on a tank. I can tell you it's probably fairly accurate, obviously depending on how much you charge, how often you charge up, etc. So let's have a look. Now, consumption for the last 50 kilometers. Overall, 6.4 liters per 100, because I was driving where I was saving a little bit of battery. You can see it was a minus battery figure, 7.4 petrol only. For a car this size, I think that's pretty good. I'm really happy with it, and I think that's pretty exceptional, quite honestly. Your multifunction steering wheel obviously has absolutely everything you can want, and remembering that all three spec levels do give you 7 airbags, full ADAS, full safety, full everything else that you can ever possibly desire for knowing that your family will be safe in the car. Of course, a feature and a party trick over BYD is the 15.3-inch screen that does that. Call it a gimmick, call it what you want. Some people like different varieties, different ways of structuring their screen. It's really up to you, and it's really going to depend on what you want. So I'm not going to comment. It just is there. Now, something that I did find a little bit irritating was, in order to get to your aircon ventilation settings, you've got to, it's only on the screen. And when you're in Android Auto, you've got to get out of Android Auto first to get to that. So BYD, that I found a little bit clumsy, and I'm going to call that Alan's picky point on this car. But of course, it's got everything you want. It's got the flows to the dashboard. Just look at the different flows you get. The lines that flow, the orangey colored stitching, which looks good, the glossy section over there. Really, the Sealion, and they use the term for the face of the vehicle, etc. It really does flow, the oceanic wave, they call it, on the nose of the car, and it comes into the interior as well, as far as I'm concerned. You've got the double-decker center console, which, of course, your USBs are down there. Good, keep you out your way, a little bit extra storage. You've got dual wireless inductive charging pads, and then over here, you've got your gear shifter, parking brake, your choice between EV and HEV, to switch on some of the safety features. And over here, again, I mentioned about the aircon system. You can switch on and off the fan, or you can put it into auto mode. But to adjust more minutely, more sensitive adjustments, you've got to go into that screen, as I said. But you know what? You do get to live with it. Cup holders over here, all this that you expect. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. The bottom line is, I mentioned the power outputs of the three models. So you can get into the entry model for 633,900 Rand with a 160 kilowatts. It still gives you the 19-inch wheels. It still gives you the panoramic roof. It still gives you the full ADAS, interestingly. The mid-spec model is 689,900, and then you come to this top spec premium model at 789,900. Now for that, you get the 238 kilowatts and 550 Newton meters, and you get the all-wheel drive. The mid and top spec models also give you the 360-degree camera and a few other features, but I don't think those are the most important. So the question I'm going to ask you is, where would you go? Do you want all the power? And do you want the all-wheel drive, which to me is a massive safety feature? But there's quite a difference. I mean, from 633,900 to 789,900 is quite a wide price span. But those are the choices you can make. I said in the beginning of the video, BYD has become the biggest seller of electric vehicles in the world. And I've got to say, I've been impressed by this vehicle. I've enjoyed driving it. Yes, I know there are so many other plug-in hybrids flying onto the market at the moment. If you are in that market, check this one out. That's all I'll tell you. For MotorMatters, I'm Eleanor, and I'll see you next time.